We got the goods. I'm personally going to do 2 bowls, 1 cake in each, 1 vanilla, 1 chocolate. The first step is to mix 1 cup of butter with 2 cups of sugar. If you had done what I didn't do and you let your butter get to room temperature, it's gonna look a lot smoother than this, but this is what I have to work with. Here's a little message from future me to me 30 minutes ago. Remember to preheat your oven. Three-fourths cup. Can you look up what 3/4 of a cup is in milliliters? Are they both flour? Where were we? 2 3/4 cups flour. Here's a cup. I'm too lazy for that. Milk. How many vanilla sugar packets? Now the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I don't have, so if you have that, I suggest you use that, but instead I'm just going to use some vanilla sugar. Forgot to buy cocoa powder. And finally we end off with a dash of salt. I'm making a marble cake, so now I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of cocoa powder to one of these to make it the chocolate half. Oh, that's good enough. I'll just add a bit more. Canonically, 1 block equals 1 meter, and a Minecraft cake almost takes up a whole block, which means if I were to make a canonically accurately sized Minecraft cake, it would be this big! We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna make a cake that big. What we are gonna do is make a cake this big, which is still really big for a cake. This is a really big cake still, believe me. We've got both batters mixed, so now it is time to either spray this or put baking paper on it. To either spray this or put baking paper on it. Baking paper route. If you decide to go the paper, oh my gosh. Okay. We're gonna spray it and use baking paper, just for extra security. First, we grease the pan. Get a chunk of butter and get your fingers in it. This is how I grew up doing it. You don't actually have to get your fingers greasy, and it's done. There you go. You have the baked paper all flat. The edges are very edgy, just how we like it. Day 2. After putting the batter in the pans, we put both of these cakes into the oven for 1 hour last night, and now we let them cool down overnight so that this morning we wouldn't have to wait and worry about there being any excess heat still left inside the cakes when we put the icing on. Because if the cakes are still warm when you put the icing on, the icing will just melt, the icing will just melt, the icing will just melt, and it'll be a disaster. And that's the last thing you want when you're already this far along. So the goal right now is to be able to stack these two cakes on top of each other. But as you can see, they both have rounded tops on them, so we're gonna cut off the rounded parts of both of these cakes and then try successfully to sandwich them on top of each other. I need to try and make this as flat as possible. Cameraman, what do you like? It's good! And that is some good cake. I just noticed that right here there's a little bit of a crack happening. So I need to be really careful when I flip them on top of each other that this crack doesn't crack even more. The problem with this one is that it dips a bit in the middle. We realized a little bit too late that we don't actually have a cake plate that's big enough for this. So this will have to do. Now that we have the tops of them layered off, we have homemade apricot jam that we're going to use as a filling. My original plan was to make a nice raspberry puree to put between the two layers and to use as the white squares on the top of the cake. The red square. But I had to draw a line somewhere for the amount of time, effort, and money that I'm putting into this. Don't break on me, 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 please. There are only 3 ingredients in this icing: butter, powdered sugar, and either vanilla or almond extract. I'm doing almond because I love it. To start, we're going to do 2 cups of butter, 6 cups of powdered sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, or one of these. We're going to see if that's enough, and if it's not, then we'll make another batch. This butter has been sitting out, so it's room temperature, which is what you want for this. got the white layer on the cake, so we're gonna put this in the fridge while we roll out the fondant and get that all ready so that some of this icing can harden up again, because I think it's starting to drip a little because of what it's gone through in the last half hour. Do we have room in the fridge? We don't have a rolling pin, but that's okay. This is the smartest thing that I've done in the last 2 days. Instead of trying to have some fancy thing on the top to actually replicate some raspberry topping, we're gonna use fondant, which is what we should have done from the beginning for the white as well.